thank y'all for coming to our show tonight. Thank you for coming out to support your local theater, and especially BPAC. We are so excited. I hope you enjoyed our selection of photos from BPAC's first year. We've just celebrated our first anniversary all together, which is super exciting. So I am so excited to see what we've done in this past year and what we will do in the year before us. Please check the back of your programs for ways that you can get involved with us, because we have a lot more coming up on our slate. These actors have worked so hard over the past 3 weeks to learn about acting, interpreting text, stage presence, and so much more, and they still have weeks and weeks to go before they do their final presentation, so every day they keep learning more and they keep getting better, and I'm so impressed by them. The love letters in this show, they cover history spanning from the 1600s all the way up to modern day, written 3.5 weeks ago. However, all of them share a unique and very personal admiration and appreciation for love. Thank you again for supporting BPAC and your local performing arts community. I am pleased to present Letters of Love.
Asheville, North Carolina, July 28, 1919. Dear Miss Eisenhower, hope you will pardon me for taking the privilege of writing you a few lines this evening. I am taking this privilege of asking you if you would care to correspond with me for a while, and if you think so, and it's agreeable with you, I would be glad to call and see you sometime soon when it would suit you. Hope you will not think hard of me for writing this, but hope you will consider it strictly confidentially and from a friend. So, hoping to at least hear from you real soon. I remain your friend, Bergen Anders, P.O. Box 997, Asheville, North Carolina.
William Shakespeare, prolific, mysterious 16th century writer's 18th sonnet shows admiration without target. Here the bard waxed poetic on the values of nature and the greater virtues of the one he loves.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag, thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Despite none of his works receiving critical acclaim during his lifetime, Franz Kafka still managed to become a genre-defining writer. His self-doubt would lead him to a life of indecisiveness characterized by many relationships and engagements, none of which ever came to fruition. His first relationship was with Felice Bauer, with whom he mostly communicated in letters.
Fräulein Felice, I am now going to ask you a favor, which sounds quite crazy and which I should regard as such, were I the one to receive the letter. It is also the very greatest test that even the kindest person could be put to. Well, this is it. Write to me only once a week, so that your letter arrives on Sunday, for I cannot endure your daily letters. I am incapable of enduring them. For instance, I answer one of your letters, then lie in bed in apparent calm, but my heart bears through my entire body and is only conscious of you. I belong to you. There is really no other way of expressing it, and that is not strong enough. But for this very reason, I don't want to know what you are wearing. It confuses me so much that I cannot deal with life. And that's why I don't want to know that you are fond of me. If I did, how could I, fool that I am, go on sitting in my office or here at home instead of leaping onto a train with my eyes shut and opening them only when I am with you? Oh, there is a sad, sad reason for not doing so. To make it short, my health is only just good enough for myself alone, not good enough for marriage, let alone fatherhood. Yet when I read your letter, I feel I could overlook even what cannot possibly be overlooked. But is a peaceful solution possible now? Would it help if we wrote to each other only once a week? No, if my suffering could be cured by such means, it would not be serious, and already I foresee that I shan't be able to endure even the Sunday letters. And so to compensate for Saturday's lost opportunity, I ask you with what energy remains to me at the end of this letter, if we value our lives, let's abandon it all. Franz.
The following letter was written to Captain Stewart by his wife and is presented by his wife. The late Captain Stewart was an airline pilot and the first lieutenant in the U.S. Army Signal Corps in Da Nang during the Vietnam War. From the age of 4, when he went for a ride in his uncle's Piper Cub while clutching his teddy bear, Captain Stewart knew he wanted to be an airline pilot. Despite many challenges along the way, Captain Stewart finally realized his dream when he was hired as a line pilot and flight instructor by Pan American World Airways. During his career, most recently with United Airlines, Captain Stewart logged more than 17,000 flight hours, and as a flight instructor became a mentor to many pilots.
My dear best friend, as we get old and used to one another, we think alike. We read one another's minds. We know what the other one wants without even asking. Sometimes we irritate one another, and sometimes we take one another for granted. But once in a while, like today, I take a moment to realize how blessed I am to be sharing my life with you. You inspire me and encourage me. You make me feel whole. You strengthen me spiritually. You surround me with your love. I am a much better person because of you. I love you so much. Susan.
Caitlin McNamara and Dylan Thomas were smitten with each other from the moment that they met. Although Caitlin was married at the time of their first meeting, the two were wed within 2 years. The two writers would share a fiery and confrontational relationship for the rest of their lives.
Caitlin, darling, I caught lots of buses and went to sleep in them, and ate wine gums in the train and got here awfully late in a sort of thunderstorm. This morning, I can't do anything but sit with my headache and my liver in a higgledy-piggledy room looking out on the rain. And now I'm trying to keep my hand steady to write a neat letter to you that isn't all miserable because I'm not with you in Lawn or in London or in Ringwood or whatever daft place you're in without me. I love you, Cat. I love you more than anybody in the world. And yesterday, though it may be lots of yesterdays ago to you, when this wobbly letter reaches you, it was the best day in the world, in spite of dogs and Augustus woofing and being miserable because it had to stop. I want you to be with me. You can have all the spaces between the houses, and I can have a room with no windows, and we can milk a halfway house. You can teach me to walk in the air, and I can teach you to make nice noises on the piano without any music. We'll have a bed and a bar, as we said we would, and we shan't have any money at all, and we'll live on other people's, which they won't like a bit. But I'm here in a nest of schoolmasters and vicars, mayors, lawyers, doctors, maiden aunts, and your Lord knows where, in the country, miles and miles from me, painting balmy ivy. Now I'm sad as hell, and I'll have to go to a pub by myself and sit in the corner and mope. And I'm going to mope about you, and then I'm going to have a bath, and I'm going to mope about you in the bath. Damn all this anyway. I only want to tell you all the time, over and over again, that I love you, and that I'm sad because you've gone away, and that I'm not going to lose you, and that I'm going to see you soon, and that I want us to get married once we can, and that you said you wanted to too. Write to me when you get this, or before you do. Only write and tell me all there is to tell me, and I'll write to you and tell you when I'll be in London, and then we'll meet, however much they try to stop us. And then I'll be happy, and I'll try to make you happy by not being a half-wit. All my love, for as long as forever and ever is. Dylan.
Eliza and Alexander Hamilton are strong figures in American history. Alexander, after fighting in the Revolutionary War, would go on to found the first bank of the United States before dying in 1804. Eliza Hamilton would hear of his death in a letter written by him with instructions not to be delivered unless he passed away.
This letter, my very dear Eliza, will not be delivered to you unless I shall first have terminated my earthly career, to begin, as I humbly hope from redeeming grace and divine mercy, a happy immortality. If it had been possible for me to have avoided the interview, my love for you and my precious children would have been alone a decisive motive. But it was not possible without sacrifices which would have rendered me unworthy of your esteem. I need not tell you of the pangs I feel from the idea of quitting you and exposing you to the anguish which I know you would feel. Nor could I dwell on the topic lest it should unman me. The consolations of religion, my beloved, can alone support you, and these you have a right to enjoy. Fly to the bosom of your God and be comforted. With my last idea, I shall cherish the sweet hope of meeting you in a better world. Adieu, best of wives and best of women. Embrace all my darling children for me. Ever yours, A.H.
Pickwick Papers author Charles Dickens was a well-known author whose writing inspired an entire genre of literature. He met Catherine Hogarth when the two of them both worked for the Morning Chronicle and was immediately smitten. The two would become engaged the next year and were married the year after that.
May 1835. My dearest Kate, the house is up, but I'm very sorry to say that I must stay at home. I've had a visit from the publishers this morning, and the story cannot be any longer delayed. It must be done tomorrow, as there are more important considerations too than mere payment for the story received. I must exercise a little self-denial and set to work. They have made me an offer of £14 a month to write and edit a new publication they contemplate, entirely by myself. And each number will contain 4 woodcuts. I am able to make my estimate and calculation and give them a decisive answer this Friday morning. The work will be no joke, but the emolument is too tempting to resist. I have at this moment got Pickwick and his friends on the Rochester Express coach. They are going on swimmingly, in company with a very different character than any I have yet described, who I flatter myself will make a decided hit. I want to get them from the ball to the inn before I go to bed, and I think it will take me until 1 or 2 o'clock at the earliest. The publishers will be here in the morning, so you will readily suppose I have no alternative but to stick to my work.
Born in Germany, Zarina Alexandra was raised by her grandmother, Queen Victoria, from the age of 6. After growing up in the comfort and customs of Victorian England, she fell in love and was wed to Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. Despite difficulty adjusting to her new life, the navigation of genetic illness, and the condemnation of Russian society, Alexandra remained deeply in love with Tsar Nicholas and wrote him many letters telling him so.
Off you go again, alone, and it's with a very heavy heart I part from you. No more kisses and tender caresses for ever so long. I want to bury myself in you, hold you tight in my arms, make you feel this intense love of mine. You are my very life, sweetheart, and every separation gives endless heartache. Goodbye, my angel, husband of my heart. I envy my flowers that will accompany you. I press you tightly to my breast, kiss every sweet place with tender love. God bless and protect you, guard you from all harm, guide you safely and firmly into the new year. May it bring glory and sure peace, and the reward for all this war has cost you. I gently press my lips to yours and try to forget everything. Gazing into your lovely eyes, I lay on your precious breast, resting my tired head upon it still. This morning I tried to gain calm and strength for the separation. Goodbye, wee one. Lovebird, sunshine, hussy mine own.
Abigail Adams was a sharp and attentive woman who didn't let the stigma against her stop her from following her passions. She worked behind the scenes to use her intelligence and political knowledge to help support and strengthen the United States government during its formative years. She and John Adams maintained a regular correspondence of letters, covering everything from policy plans unknown to the public to declarations of love between them. This letter is an excerpt sent a few years before Abigail would join John and John Quincy in Paris.
My dearest friend, should I draw you the picture of my heart, it would be what I hope you would still love, though it contained nothing new. The early possession you obtained there, and the absolute power you have obtained over it, leaves not the smallest space unoccupied. I look back to the early days of our acquaintance and friendship as to the days of love and innocence, and with an indescribable pleasure, I have seen near a score of years roll over our heads with an affection heightened and improved by time. Not have the dreary years of absence in the smallest degree effaced from my mind the image of the dear, untitled man to whom I gave my heart.
James Bergen Anders met Florence Eisenhower in July 1919. Bergen was the on-call mortician responding to the death of her father, arriving by horse and buggy at her homestead to embalm and bury Mr. Eisenhower. Their courtship began with a letter from James to Florence 1 month later. It continued with the exchange of 50 letters throughout the next 7 months and the occasional Sunday date after church. They were happily married on February 22nd, 1920, and stayed together until James passed away in 1974. Florence passed 7 years later at the age of 82. This letter, read by their granddaughter, was written 1 week before their marriage.
February 15th, 1920, Asheville, North Carolina. My darling Florence, your letter just received. I was sure glad to hear from you. Hope you are still improving and will soon be well again. I thought this morning I was taking the flu. Sure enough, I was real sick for a while this morning, but I'm feeling better now. I don't think I have the flu. I haven't any cold or cough, and I think I will be all right by tomorrow. Say, dear, I think you are right about putting our wedding off till things get a little better. There is so much sickness everywhere, and I think it is really wise to wait another week. And, dear, just as soon as everybody gets better, we can get married at any time. I hate this as much as you, but things happen over which we have no control. But I think everything will work out all right, so we will have to be content and wait. I hardly think I can come out on Sunday. I'm going to the doctor in a little while and try not to take flu. Dear, you must take good care of yourself and don't take pneumonia. And please write me often. From your devoted friend, Bergen.
In the lobby for pictures of BPAC's adventures over the past year, a chocolate or two, and a special class presentation.